Hi guys, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 5 ways you can make your home look expensive without breaking the bank. Please go ahead to smash that like button and subscribe, and without wasting your time, let's get straight into the video. The first tip would be curtains. The choice of fabric plays a vital role in creating a luxurious look on your curtains. So it's either you're doing linen or you're doing velvet or shears. It all depends on what style you are going for in that space. You can actually make your curtains feel luxurious by using a high-end fabric like silk or velvet. Silk has a way of making that space feel luxurious. A heavier fabric will help the curtains hang better and create a more luxurious look. So when it comes to curtains, pay attention to details. The part that really plays a role is the way you hang your curtains. If you hang your curtains too low from the ceiling, then your house is going to look even smaller than it is. So the higher you hang your curtain to the ceiling, the more it looks bigger, and then the more luxurious the space feels. I just want this video to be as simple as possible. And also, the wider you hang your curtains away from the window sill, the more it opens up the space and the more it looks luxurious. So it's kissing the floor, or it's just either a centimeter away from the floor. When you see curtains that are just flowing on the floor and all that, it makes the space look really messy. So you want to avoid that type of look when it comes to hanging curtains. I think it's as simple as that. Keep it very simple and you will be surprised how much it opens up the space. Some people will tell you, oh, they prefer to just do blinds or Roman blinds or wooden blinds, whatever. I still think that except that space is not going to accommodate curtains, except there is something obstructing that space from taking up curtain, and except the curtains already in that space are too much that you feel okay, there is no point putting too many curtains in too many windows. I think curtains should always be your number one choice. But 2 points would be lighting. If you've watched most of my videos, I don't joke with lights. Different levels of lighting. You want to make sure that your space is well lit up. If you're going with warm white in your space, make sure that you stick with warm white across every part of your home. If you're going with cool white, make sure you stick with cool white across every part of your home. As much as we are content creators, we would be tempted to go with cool white in our homes, but for a home, the most appropriate light temperature would be the warm white, just because you want your home to feel cozy and not feeling like a church or a cinema or something like too bright. Okay, so warm white will always be the appropriate choice for your home, but then it's okay if you think that cool white is what you need for your space. Make sure you stick with cool white everywhere, because you can't be mixing cool white and warm white in your space. You can introduce light in your space in different forms. You can introduce it through the down lighting, that's like it's the spotlight you have in your house. You can introduce with chandelier. You can agree with me that most of our big lights, we rarely use them, okay, because they're just too much for the space. But then for aesthetic purposes, it's important to have those kind of lights, okay. And then when you have occasions, you have people coming around, you might just want to put it on. But just, for normal day-to-day use, we rarely use our big lights. Another way you can introduce lighting into your space is by using table lamps, floor lamps, picture light, wall light, as much as possible, bedside light, because sometimes you just want to sit down in a very cozy corner and read, so you can just use your table lamp. Sometimes you just want, the whole place not to be so bright. You can just use your picture light or even wall light, depending on your mood at that time. So different levels of lights takes that house to another level, makes your house look really expensive, even when you just didn't break the bank for it. My third point would be using large mirrors. I've seen people use mirrors in their spaces, but the problem, or where I struggle with, is where people use very small sized mirrors in the spaces. My sister, the bigger you can go, the better. I know that the bigger the mirror, the more expensive, but they're still very affordable mirrors, which I have links for you guys in this video as well. I'm linking all the things I've said. I'm going to be linking different options for you guys in this video, so that you can, if you're looking to elevate your space, you can use the link in the description box to order them. So try to go as big as possible with your mirrors. When you use small mirrors, it reflects the size of the mirror. So when you use a small mirror, that space still looks small. But the bigger the size of the mirror you use in that space, the more it enlarges that space and makes it look bigger. It gives an illusion of the size of the mirror. And then another trick is, if possible, because sometimes it's not possible depending on the style of the home, but if possible, if you have a wall facing the window, then place your mirror on that place. So the light coming from the window hits the mirror and then bounces back. So that way it opens up the space. You would be surprised how much your space would look if you try this trick. So these are ways you can actually make your space look big. Mirrors, you can never go wrong with mirrors. The bigger, the better. You can never go wrong. If you're confused about anything, please introduce a large mirror to that space and watch how your space will be transformed. My fourth point will be decorative trays. Listen, if I open my garage, you guys will be shocked at the number of trays I have stocked in there. So once in a while, I just bring them and switch things up. So you can have like a vase, a candle, and diffuser on that table. It just looks busy, cluttered and all that. But the moment you introduce a decorative tray, it contains the clutter. So your decorative pieces no longer look like clutter. It just makes it look like one major piece on the table. Wherever you place random decor pieces, I think that is an ideal place to introduce a decorative tray. I've linked some decorative trays for you guys in the description box. If you want to check them out, please go ahead and do that. Decorative trays provide a stylish and functional way to display items. They also serve as an attractive centerpiece or focal point in a room, enhancing its overall aesthetics. My final point for this video would be use large frames. The larger the frame, the better. A frame can never be too large for a space. You're better off using a very large frame that appears to be too big for that space than using a very small frame that appears to be too small for that space. I understand that the larger the frames, the more expensive, but there are so many ways you can go about without breaking the bank. For instance, maybe if you're someone that travels, you can either take pictures of your favorite place or your favorite spots, you come back, you print it and frame it. Or you can use Etsy. There are so many of these antique, or is it antique or traditional, prints that you can either print from there and frame them. Where you're going to spend part of the money would be to frame them, to get them properly framed. But at least it's saving you a ton of money from buying the prints. So there are so many ways to go about it without breaking the bank. So the larger the frame, the better, honestly. Try not to cut corners when it comes to that, because bigger frames on the wall make your space appear even bigger and more luxurious. For instance, if you have a small space, one rule of thumb is to use your vertical space wisely. You don't want to clutter the ground with a lot of pieces. So how do you use your vertical space wisely? It's by introducing a very large frame on that wall, so thereby it creates that minimal look but very high end at the same time. That's why sometimes when you have a wall that looks like it's a normal UK wall and you introduce a very large frame like the one I have in my office, it automatically made that wall appear big, because now what we're looking at is that large frame on the wall. So you want to make sure that when you have a space, always introduce large wall pieces, either large mirrors, large frames. The larger you go, the better for you, the more your space looks high end. By adding large scale art, you can create a more polished and put together look. If you ask me, I would rather choose to have a large frame art than have small pieces of artwork on the wall. Just because if you're not an expert, you might struggle with having that high-end look that you're gunning for. So you want to make sure that you keep it really minimal, simple, and luxurious. I try to make this video as simple as possible, as easy as I can explain, because listen, I'm more of a practical person than I'm more of a practical person than talking. But I feel like I need to introduce more of this kind of content on my YouTube channel, because simple explanation like this would help someone out there who is looking to decorate their space on a budget. I will try to link as much as I can for you guys in my description box do check that out. If there is anything I've mentioned here that you're looking for, it's just different options for you. Check them out. That being said, if you're looking for someone to start up your home, we are available. Send us an email with the email in the description box or the one on the screen here, and we will get back to you and we can take it from there. I really enjoy shooting this for you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more, comments below and I will make sure to deliver more to you guys. I hope this video was as brief and as straightforward as I intended it to be. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay fabulous. Bye.